We're diving in with our go-to therapist, Michelle Nolan, to give you the insight, clarity, and cosmic nudges you need for this November. Think of this forecast as your energetic check-in, helping you to navigate the emotional tides, release what's no longer needed, and move with intention into this final stretch of 2025. Michelle's pulling the cards and channeling wisdom for the collective, and trust us, it's exactly what your soul ordered. Let's get going. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Robin. Hi, Karen.
Let me just say we are ending October, and when you all are listening to this, it'll be the first week in November. But there has been so much crazy ass energy at the end of this month.
Yeah, Scorpio's always a little chaotic, but I have to say, I don't know if you two know this, but Scorpio is not that I should pick favorites, but I will pick favorites. It's my favorite sign.
I am not surprised. It's
That's true.
mysterious. There's so much.
Yeah,
Confident in yourself.
passionate and deep
Yep.
and profound and a little crazy at times, but it's all good.
Let's get into
Yes.
Scorpio season here.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Since Dia de los Muertos is technically in November, I have my Dia de los Muertos deck.
Yay.
Very cool. So let me do my channeling opening for the collective and for everyone that's listening. Spirit, please open the session for the Seeking Center community and anyone who is listening. Please give me clear and concise messages for what is you want to speak with me and them about today. And please allow everyone to have an open heart and open mind to receive these messages. And we thank you for your guidance, your protection, and your connection today. Okay, so just remember that we are ending the month of October with that Emperor card. If we just recall, that's Mars energy. It's very bold energy, in your face kind of energy. And it created some kind of structure for, I think, coming into the platform of where we're launching into November, which is continuing the heart of Scorpio season. So in the beginning of this month, we are moving to the Hangman, which has a little bit of a different vibe. I would say it's a softer emperor. Okay.
Remind us what that.
Okay. Yeah. Because the emperor is, like I said, bold, right? But the hangman here at the very beginning of the month, which is actually not what I expected, but the hangman has this vibe of thoughtfulness. There's an internal space with the hangman. It's a little different than the hermit card, but it has this, it's for clarity. The whole point of it is to set yourself in a position that you're looking at things differently. So the idea that you're maybe slowing down for a minute, because I think when I say it's a minute, because that's not we're just gonna chill the whole month. This doesn't feel like it to me. It feels okay. We'll give a little breath. We'll give a little breathing room right at the beginning of the month, just to pause, reflect a little bit, wondering what the delay is. I almost feel like there's a little bit of a weird kind of interjected delay. Okay. So when I get that kind of vibe, it's like spirit saying, don't rush. We want to be careful and thoughtful about what we're doing going forward into this month. And I think that the hangman is allowing us to, like I said, change some perspectives if we need to change some perspectives and think a little differently. And also understand what depth really means, because Scorpio is all about depth to me. This is all about the profundity of life, the shadow side of life. That is the heart of really Scorpio and what they're about. So if we think of the hangman, it's like Spirit's asking us, what have we learned? What have you learned this year? And we're approaching the end of the year. So have you really learned what you're supposed to learn? Because we're giving you this moment, a momentary pause of saying, if I need to redo something and need to relearn something, this is the moment to do it. Because I feel like after that, we've passed the off ramp, as I like to say, and we're going to circle around again and have to do it over. So this is this moment in the beginning of November to really dive deep for at least a few minutes in our busy schedule and say, I spent a lot of time changing myself this year. I spent a lot of time redirecting, a lot of fast moving energy that happened this year. So what have I really learned, and can I adjust myself so that I don't have to repeat any lessons? I don't have to revisit anything again moving after November.
Can I also interject for 1 second and tell you
Yeah, of course.
Mercury's in retrograde in the beginning of November, November 9th.
It
So
delays. It
So
delays.
I feel like It totally relates to what you're saying. Just had to
Yes.
validate you
And
in that way
yeah,
too.
thank you. That's right. And I will say, I actually, even though, and I was trying to apply it to me personally too, so it makes sense to everyone else as well. But even though the energy feels a little chaotic, like we were just talking about, I do feel like there's been some restrictions and it's causing some road bumps. At least that's how he's even feeling for me right now. So I think approaching November, it might still feel like that. Like, why aren't things like flowing very easily? Okay. So that could be part of the Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
But for tarot, for me, it's like that conversation Spirit's having. They're putting us on an intentional hold. It's an intentional hold to say, did you learn and did you change the perspective that you were supposed to change? Okay. Because again, right away, I get, and I said this was brief, I get this Ace of Wands and Ace of Swords immediately after the Hangman. So that is pause, think, act on that new thinking very quickly. It is an action, do it. So I'm feeling right at the beginning of November. It's almost like the truth, because I always say Ace of Swords is like truth with a capital T. The truth, we're being able to access that faster. Now, that is also a beautiful place with Scorpio season because when we talked about the veil lifting and being able to dive into that unconscious place, this is the place where we can actually access some of that subconscious energy, that unconscious energy. And we're getting to those truths really fast and saying, yeah, that really makes sense to me. Whatever that thing is in my life that I've worked on all this year, and now I get it. Now I can just act on it and just say, this is what I'm going to do. So it has a very similar flavor as the Emperor did at the end of the month, where the Emperor is almost that call to structure, like we talked about. And then this is the Hangman saying, okay, this is the action about that structure. Like a little quick reassessment, very big acceptance of some big truth or big knowing or big change in our thinking, and then acting on it in a new direction. That is like the very big highlight. And the other thing I love about Scorpio is when I say it's Mars energy is about action. So when I get the Ace of Wands there, it is about taking action. It's not about saying, I'm going to think about this for a long time or ask more questions. It feels like, no, we intuitively know the answers. We've been doing this for a while. Let's act now because Mars requires action.
Can you just clarify from a time perspective? Are we talking about the first week of the month?
I think it's like how the energy moves, and especially in tarot, as there's not really like a definitive timeline. It's more of like a river of energy flowing. So when we are moving into November, it feels like that. And then it transitions pretty quickly into that action. Because like I said, I think we're really hitting intuitive stuff very quickly. It's like a quick pause, little delay, and then the action on these really big truths, because Ace of Wands and Ace of Swords is pretty immediate. Okay, it's I know it, I'm going to act on it. So I love that. And this is the other thing about Scorpio, I would say, which I love, is it's no bullshit. Like Scorpios will see right through down to your core what it is that you've been hiding, what it is you've been maybe denying, what it is you've been lying about yourself to others and to yourself, and what it is that you've been skirting for later. They'll call you out and say, we're not going to hide that anymore.
I wonder why you love it so much.
Yeah, I know, it's so direct.
Everything about you, in addition to the psychology and the tarot and all of it, that makes so much sense.
I always think of Scorpio season and Scorpio people, calling out all my Scorpios out there because I love them, is that they have like x-ray vision into people, into situations, and they can very much say, yeah, no, this is bullshit, or no, this person's super honest. They're not the most direct people, but they like very clear honesty, very real stuff. Let's not be fake anymore. So I think there's a part of this element, if we're just speaking about ourselves, because we're not all Scorpios here, but we can tap into that energy, is saying that we don't need to sugarcoat anything. We don't need to fake it till we make it. We can just say, I just don't know that answer, or I don't know, I need to learn that. I hope someone else will help me with this. Okay. So it's a very forward energy.
Love it. Just speaking my language.
I know. I love it too, although I have none of that in my chart. So I think for some people, that is a real stand in your truth challenge moment for yourself.
Yeah, because I think we talked about this a little bit on that group podcast, is it's vulnerable. to be that real. It's vulnerable to be that seen. It's vulnerable to be that honest with yourself and with other people. And I think that is truly what the beginning of this month is really about. So it's just very hard honesty.
And I think to me, it also speaks to not wanting to see other people's bullshit. I'm so sick of it. We are surrounded by it. And I feel like it gives me permission to be like, done with you, moving along, give me the real shit, because I honestly think we are just inundated with people trying to make things that are not authentic but look pretty. Done with that.
Yeah. It's no surprise that the Ace of Wands looks like a middle finger.
We will show that to people who want to see it.
So yeah, no bullshit energy. Let me just focus in a little bit before we move through the heart of the reading so we can just understand what the whole month is really about. I am getting the Ten of Wands and then the challenge to that, the Magician. There is a lot of stuff, I would say, that is just around right now. And that could be internally, spiritually, emotionally, physically in your space. You might have a lot, maybe you just need to clean some stuff up. But just with the weight and the burdens of things. And the heart of the reading is understanding that weight actually doesn't allow you to manifest. Okay. Having that gunk just sticking to you like glue doesn't allow you to move. And this makes sense for me in Scorpio season because Scorpio, like I said, wants to go deep. And usually where our gunk is, like our bullshit, is hiding somewhere that we don't want to get to or don't want other people to see. But the whole point of it is so that when we get there, we can clear out that attic, clear that gunk off of us, do that kind of energetic shower, which I know Robin likes to do, and just allow ourselves to say, I want to get rid of this because I want to move. I want to manifest. That's the Magician card. The Magician card is understanding that we are in control of our reality. We have the tools to take what we've learned, why probably the Hangman's here at the beginning of the month, and control what our reality looks like. That's the whole idea about the Magician card. So when that is in the block for me, like that's the challenge right now, it's understanding the steps in that process of what manifestation really is. The steps are that we have to remove gunk to actually grow and manifest something in our reality. We can't just keep piling on. It just doesn't work. And the stuff that makes us heavy actually makes us obviously move slower. So we have to get to that. And I do also think that the flip side of that, the paradox of that, with the Magician card here, is we're supposed to notice when we're manifesting not so good stuff for ourselves. When we're actually in the energy of negativity, we're in the energy of the world is a terrible place to be right now. And I would rather be anywhere but this timeline. I would rather be anywhere else. What are you really doing? What are you saying? You're saying, I want to manifest more of that negativity. I want to manifest more of that horrific landscape in my reality. So the Magician is very neutral. The Magician says, if I'm here, I'm making things happen for you, but you're driving the energy of what's actually happening. If you're driving the energy of negativity, that's what's going to show up for you. So I think this is Scorpio calling out bullshit on us as a collective right now and saying, I don't know, guys, if we continue this kind of trajectory of everything is negative, everything is terrible, that is exactly where we will get it. And that's how we'll get it. So I think Scorpio is calling bullshit on that a little bit.
And it's an opportunity for all of us to gain a different perspective, own our strength, own the fact that we are the magicians of our lives.
I don't want all that negative. You speak because it is, then you're just going to get more. It's a good reminder.
And I think the whole heart of this around that Ten of Wands being the center of the reading is a really big deal. Is now I'm getting why the Emperor was here at the end of October, because the Emperor is about responsibility, growing up, taking charge, doing the right thing. And so if we are speaking in that terms. Now we're in that energy in November because now it's like actually real, not just the concept of the emperor. It's asking us to take responsibility for what we're manifesting. Take responsibility for your own energy. Take responsibility for what you can control. If you want to have a happy world around you, help create that. Don't just feed into negativity and feed into the burden of drowning in chaos. Because if there's another thing I know about Scorpio energy is they are the death rebirth cycle. And so they're like in their highest vibration, their phoenix is rising. So they take the worst possible consequence and scenario that you can think of and burst from those ashes to something wonderful and beautiful and new. So I think that is what this energy is about. Do you want to take responsibility for your energy and help create a positive trajectory, or do you want to get weighted and burdened by what is coming at you instead of changing that and transmuting it?
We can each take responsibility for ourselves. And if we each did that and we were able to own our actions and our thoughts and the energy we're putting in the world. And so if you're coming at it from a place of strength and gratitude, I'm a badass and I can be here and I'm going to put out kindness. I am going to put out love, whatever it is, then you are contributing in a different way. Therefore, the energy starts to change.
I think it's what you said, Robin. It's as much as things might not be exactly where you want to be in that moment, the best thing to do is find that gratitude or find some little positive ray of sunshine in it versus mire and muck and dig yourself deeper into the depression and the blame and all the things. Like you were saying, Michelle, weighed in this energy and will keep you there.
Manifestation isn't immediate. Sometimes it takes a while for that energy to come back. We might not recognize that right away. We might not recognize that what's coming back to us is going to be more negativity. We're continuing on that momentum. So another thing I'm getting here with the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Swords are surrounding that is I think we're forgetting how deep the depth of love really is. And that love is also a weapon. Love is just as strong as hate, if not stronger.
That's true.
So we look at that sometimes, I think, as vulnerability. I had a conversation with a friend of mine recently who is very affected about the world at large, and she takes that energy on. We were talking about guilt. We were talking about the idea of how can I be happy? How can I feel good and positive when things are happening in the world that are terrible to people? And I was saying, like, you're devaluing love. You're devaluing positivity. You're devaluing the idea of what you're bringing to people, maybe even if it's for a second in their day, is some lightness. You don't know what's going on with those people. You don't know what's going on with someone that you just run into for 5 minutes. You don't think the rest of the world is also feeling depressed? You don't think the rest of the world is also feeling the burden? So maybe bringing that continuously to the people that you're with and who you run into, it gives them hope.
1,000%. It may not be the easy thing, but it can make such a difference. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. So when you leave your house, picture yourself as like this ball of light. I do that all the time. I made it a practice. And so that when I do run into people, even if I'm not having the best day, I know that I'm shining as bright as I can.
You're right. It always makes you feel lighter.
It does.
Get it back in return, you do.
And connected. The people we meet that seem to be untouched by negativity almost, right? Like untouched by horrible things in their life and they're still positive. It's disarming, right? Yeah. And it allows you to connect at a heart level, which is the Queen of Cups is here. I feel like she's the answer. She, like, this open-heartedness is the answer to feeling the burden and feeling the Eight of Swords here, which is stuck, feeling like we're just going to spiral around here down this drain for a long time. And the Magician is asking you, is that where you want to be? Do you want to spiral down in the drain? Because we can change this. We can change this.
All right. So then where do we move?
So towards the end of November, 5 of Cups, 7 of Swords, and the 8 of Wands. This is all this energy in November is serious as far as it's deep. So the 5 of Cups to the 7 of Swords, it is about all of that. It really feels like depressing dark, shadowy stuff, which is what Scorpio is good at. And it feels like it's trying to come out to the surface so that we can remove it and to do it quickly. When I get this Eight of Wands, that is very fast moving energy. So starting the month with this delay and then going to the end of the month with it changing really fast and turning over really fast, I think is not surprising the extremity of Scorpio. Scorpio is about extremes. So the beginning is like delay, slowness, everything seems like jarringly not moving in the right direction. And then at the end, it's like, all right, completely different story. We're going to just move very fast and probably jump into December very quickly. And then energy is going to shift super suddenly. But I do think this overall energy of not hiding anything, not skirting anything under the rug, and actually talking about things in a very real way, but not getting attached to the emotion of the darkness. So we can talk about hard negative things. We can talk about things that aren't going right in our life and what we're not feeling good about, but then not being attached to the emotion and the negativity to it. Talking from a place of, yeah, this is life. Sometimes things are hard and sometimes we suffer, but what are we learning?
What would you say then, like really at the very end here, when you said things happen very fast? How are you feeling that?
The whole vibe that I'm feeling is that we've been doing this separating for a while. I've been feeling this like sorting that's been happening all year. And we're at this deeper place of separation. At the very end, we're like, I just don't want to be around that negative stuff. I don't want it in my life. I think it's toxic. I think it's hurting me. I think it's hurting my spiritual being and the people that I care about. Don't want it. So I am going to remove it and also be really honest about saying, I just don't want that around. I don't want that in my life. So I think the change happens very quickly in the sense of the direction, whatever that is. So maybe it's people in your life that you're like, I don't want to be around that negativity.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to do that. If you want to get on board in this other direction, that's where I'm headed. So I think it's like removing that gunk and then in a very real way, understanding that you don't want to be a part of it anymore.
Yeah. It feels like a very deliberate choice by the end of the month.
It feels very matter of fact to me. Like Scorpio, when I say they're not bullshit, the idea that they resonate with so strongly, especially in this season, there is suffering. Yeah, there is shadow. There is darkness in life. Is that all it is? No.
And does it just define you?
Yeah, no, that's a part of life. It is what it is. So I think that matter of fact truth and removing yourself, I think, from this current timeline and saying, we have it the worst. This is the worst it's ever been. Scorpio would say, bullshit, people. It is not the worst it's ever been.
That is true.
It's the worst for you.
And I just am thinking at the end of the month in the US, it'll be Thanksgiving. And so you'll be with potentially family, friends. You're going into the holiday. That's the beginning of the real holiday season. It feels like a good time to have cleared the gunk away so that you can bring your lighter self to those get-togethers, to even just being out in the world so that you can actually take in the light. Because I do think that time of year can also be a time, if you so choose, to allow yourself to be in the giving and in the depths of love and having that positive energy. And so if you can use this month, by that end of the month, you're in this different mindset, no more.
Yeah, the end of the month is like excitement. This doesn't feel exciting right now. This feels like trudging through mud and you're just trying to remove all the bricks.
Some work.
Yeah, it's a little work, but again, it's scorpionic work, so they don't really have a problem with it. But the highlight here is that magician card is really loud to me because the magician is literally saying to everybody, like, you are in control and you have all the tools to control what kind of life you want to have around you. And it's neutral. It can be full of suffering or it can be full of joy and happiness. What do you want?
This is what I'm always reminded by, Michelle. You always remind us that we have that power within us, no matter what the world looks like around us. We do have that power. So thank you for that.
It's the one time of year more than any others where if we have to be like, woe is me, that's fine too. Scorpio will accept it and be like, if you're in a dark place, you're in a dark place, and I'm not going to love you any less. But it's the one time of year where we can just accept that suffering is a part of life and that it doesn't matter what timeline you're on. That's always going to be true for every life and every human forever, forever.
Thank you for the insight, Michelle.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to end the month in November brighter than the way we began, and with a better understanding of who we want to be going forward and then really going into 2026. So everybody get ready.
I'm excited. We're almost hitting the end of the year. And then it's Sagittarius season, which is mine.
Oh, there we go. We'll be discussing. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle.
Michelle.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you.
And if you want to work with Michelle, make sure to reach out at mtnolan.com, or you can find her at seekingcentercommunity.com. Thank you.
Thank you.